I think where our problem lies is on that fourth line right now.
Yeah, that fourth line, excuse me, of McLean, Cizikas, and Walstrom, they clearly have not gotten going either. I think the obvious connection is Cizikas and McLean. I think both those guys have even proven Cizikas for a long time, but McLean in a short sample looked like, yeah, this is someone who can be a regular in a NHL bottom six. Walstrom, on the other hand, has not shown that at any point in his career. And I understand what they were trying to do, right? Like they wanted to be a little bit more physical and maybe add a little bit more offensive touch to that fourth line. Not working through 2 games. And I know we've just, in the last segment, we were preaching like patience and like it's time, like give it a little bit more time. Even with that said, though, I would not be shocked at all if we see Julien Gauthier on Monday night.
No, I would be shocked if he's not in my opinion. Like Oliver Wahlstrom is not giving them what they need on that fourth line. And maybe he just doesn't play to strength. Kind of like what Lou was saying vis-a-vis Pierre Engvall, right? The reason he didn't keep Pierre Engvall is like, well, he got beat out for a top 6 role and he's not a bottom 6 player. In all honesty, I never thought Oliver Wahlstrom was. I don't think anyone listening to this or not listening to this who's an Islander fan thought that either. I don't think any of us were like, yeah, Oliver Wahlstrom, bottom 6 player. Absolutely. I totally see that. No, the one knock he had his entire career was the guy doesn't play defense well. It's not that he doesn't want to. It's not that he can't. It's just he's not good at it. And that's fine. Some people just aren't good at certain things. I'm not necessarily that great at certain things either. It's no shock, really, that he doesn't excel in this role. But if they're going to be doing something with this fourth line, it's got to be pressing on the forecheck. That doesn't mean hitting everything in sight. It means you're on pucks. Kind of what like when you were describing the Dallas game the other day. It was a physical game. Not because they were beating the shit out of each other. It's that they weren't giving each other any space. They were up in everyone's face. It demanded your absolute most physically. And Julien Gauthier, with his skating ability, should be able to do that at a better degree than Oliver Wahlstrom does. Just by the sheer fact that he can get there faster.
Yeah.
Now, does he know where to go that quickly is another debate. But then again, Oliver Wahlstrom doesn't, and he doesn't have the skating ability. So just adding that skating ability to that is an automatic win.
Yeah, I would think so. And he's had at least opportunities where he's played those roles in bottom 6 roles. Like that's pretty much what he's been in the NHL. Yes, he was a first round pick, but still that's what he's done in this league. So I would not be surprised. Moral of the story, I would not be surprised if they gave him a look here.
And plus, with the speed of Colorado, why not have a guy like Julien Gauthier who's gonna do it? And we've talked about this. I know you're saying, well, we're kind of hypocritical because we're preaching patience and not here. But we said this while when the roster came out. Like, they very much have to switch, but like switch Oliver Wahlstrom and Julien Gauthier when the context is right. And it very much is right going into Colorado. Oliver Wahlstrom had 2 games and he didn't do anything. And now you're going against a speedier team in Colorado. You need the speedier guy. And if all you need is I'm dangling a carrot of a roster spot on you and Julien Gauthier, so go. I'm sure he's going to throw the body around a little bit more, just a bit more.
I would hope so. I would hope so. But even with, like McLean and Cizikas could do that. So does he necessarily have to? I mean, he has to do it more than what he's used to probably, but no one's asking him to be Cal Clutterbuck.
No, exactly. And look, doesn't he have size on him too? Like, how big is he? He's 6'4", 225. Like, the reach on this guy, if you're playing forecheck, you probably don't have to lay the body because your stick is 25 feet ahead of you, getting it into the skates or into the stick of the other player. That gap control can be managed so much easier just by the sheer length of his arms.
Yeah, with that size and speed, like that seems to be the type of player that Patrick Waugh is looking for in their bottom 6.
Yeah, if you can figure out the X's and O's in terms of where to be to utilize those raw talents, I think he makes a much better fit than Oliver Wahlstrom. But I want to see it.
Yeah.
Right, and so do you. Like we both said, if it's not working with Walstrom, the leash ain't very long. Switch it up. What do you have to lose at this point?
No, they don't have anything to lose at this point. And again, we said it in the preseason when the rosters and the lines were becoming a little bit more obvious. That fourth spot or that fourth line spot was definitely one that they were going to rotate. It was, in my eyes at least, and you kind of felt the same way. It wasn't like Oliver Wahlstrom, okay, he's the opening night guy. He's going to play 80 games on the fourth line this year. Like, likely wasn't going to happen. They were going to split time or, move guys around the lineup. And, it clearly hasn't worked through 2 games. And I think just this logically makes sense that now's the time where you make that switch.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.